Over the years, it has meant the Gas House Gang, Stan the Man, Lou Brock, Bob Gibson, The Wizard, Big Mac, Yachty, Wayno, and Pujols. All those names, and they provided so many memories. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, most importantly, has meant championship baseball. The tradition continues in 2023. We'll be describing every play right here on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Graybar. Cardinal baseball on your Ozark sports leader, KSMO.
At the KSMO studios, we have our friends from Sac Bay in today. Sarah Massagale, you up back there, Sarah?
Good morning, Stan.
How are you, Sarah?
Good, thank you.
I want to make sure your microphone's on there. There we go. Didn't seem to be coming across real well. Okay, very good. Sarah's here. We've got David. We've got his daughter. We've got the whole family here.
Almost the whole family.
Almost the whole family. Dad's taking it easy, right?
Yeah, he's sleeping in.
I don't blame him. Good day. All right, well, first off, glad you can all make it in. I know it's kind of a last-minute thing, but before you really got into everything, and then you didn't want to pull away,
Right.
we want to tell people a little bit about the mural going on the ONCRC building and a little bit about Sackville. And it's still fundraisers. You still need fundraising done on some of this. So we always want money, right?
Right. Well, so the campaign for this project is $145,000, but that includes not just the mural, but also some renovations to the building because
Sure.
it's an 80-year-old building. So we've had to do some tuck pointing on the brick. There's some roof repairs coming, the exterior improvements like that front entryway. So it's bigger than just the mural. So that's why we're still fundraising.
Roof has always been an issue with
Has
that
been,
building.
yeah, we're working on that, but
Yeah.
hoping to get it. But the building's solid. It's going to be there a long time, and so that's why we're so excited about this mural. It's going to help us revitalize it and help us, draw more people to town and to the facility.
Very good. Well, David, introduce yourself. Maybe tell people a little bit about how you got into being, we'll call you a muralist.
Okay.
How's that?
Sure. My name is David Spear. I'm from Columbia, Missouri, and I've been doing artwork and murals for around 30 years now. I also work part-time as an exhibit designer for the Missouri Department of Conservation. So
Okay.
I design kids' interactive tables and touchscreen interactives and airbrush giant frogs and stuff for the nature centers around the state. And we're really excited to have this opportunity to paint this mural for the place that I think is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
It is definitely a unique place. Salem
Yes.
and Denton County. I've never been anywhere where it's the same kind of thing. Just, like one town basically is the county.
Mm-hmm.
So everything centers through Salem. And that I don't think I've ever seen that before. Not really in the way it works here because it's a small county. It's not that big, 15, maybe 16,000. Towns, 4,500, 5,000. That's not a big town, not everything, but everything flows through it. And the mural you're putting up there is a great historical piece, but also the pieces of what we actually have going on right now. And even a little bit of look to the future. If I looked at that mural pretty close,
Okay, yeah.
because it really is. And so I really appreciate the work you've done on that. I wish I could show people right here what that mural is, but that I have a description right here. And we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about what some of your items on. But your whole family's here, so your dad's sleeping in.
My dad's sleeping in.
But you brought your lovely daughter with you, she's going to follow in your footsteps.
She is, yes. She will be going to the Kansas City Art Institute in the fall, and so she's been working with me on projects for a few years now. And I'm jealous and excited that she gets to go to this great school. Yeah.
So introduce yourself.
I'm Vivian Spear. I'm David's daughter.
How long you been helping?
Well, I've been helping this guy since,
3?
18 years now, I think. But no, he let me start helping him with his murals when I was around 15. The first one I worked on with him was the Harpo's mural down in Columbia, and it's just been amazing to have all these opportunities, especially to be able to follow in his footsteps and learn from him. And I'm really excited for this mural. It's a pretty big one, and I don't know where else I'd have the chance to do this if not for my dad. So it's been
So since you're a veteran of this, did you have any input on the design?
No, no.
Everybody else did.
No, yeah. He talked to everybody else
go
except
there.
for me. No, I didn't. So my dad does all of the design stuff, and then I just kind of help him with the painting and the detail work and stuff like that. But it's really cool to get to watch him design things, especially like with the gridding system that we've been working with. It's been really interesting.
So, Sarah, how did all this come about where SACPA said, hey, we really want to do something with this building, something special that's going to grab people's attention,
Right.
obviously?
Well, so, with the pandemic, the building was basically closed for
Right.
2020 and most of 2021. So when we started getting back and thinking about it, we did a strategic planning session and said, what do we really want this building and facility to be in the community, and how do we want to move forward? And it's such a unique space, right? I mean, where else would we have this exhibit space and the opportunity for these resources? And so part of the plan originally was, let's put one of those little old-time postcards, like a mural on the corner, like Welcome to Salem,
Sure,
right?
sure,
Something small.
sure.
Yeah.
But we got connected with Roger Still at the LAD Foundation, and he was helping us through the planning process. And the idea, it was like, well, maybe it could be bigger. And then he happened to know David, and his style is a lot like Thomas Hart Benton. And at the time, we had the Thomas Hart Benton exhibit in the exhibit room last summer, and so it kind of like just grew from there. And so then what was really exciting about the process, though, was that David came down and had a charrette with all the volunteers from our facility, some of the natural resource partners in our community, to ask, what would we put on a mural that represents Dent County and our region and the Ozarks. And so, I mean, he had like three or four at least papers full of ideas about things that were important to people in our community. And so all of those elements are in this mural. It's just fascinating that he was able to put all those things in there, and people can see that we're part of that process. Where, oh, look, we talked about that, and there it's going to be. So it's really grown. It's been like a little over a year in the works, and lots of planning and thinking about it, making sure we were, doing it right, because we want it to last and to be a really important part.
David, when you go through this, did you do some historical research on Dent County? Did you also maybe get some other sites? You don't want to miss out on something that was here maybe for 50, 60 years, no longer here. A lot of railroad timbers were built here, cut and made. You don't see that much of that anymore. But even though our timber industry is still a vital part of Dent County, they may not be quite making as many of those as they used to, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I did a lot of research. Came down here with Roger. We visited, toured around. I've actually been down here with the Missouri Department of Conservation at conferences and seminars where I've gotten tours of the MDC trout and the hatcheries and the mills around this area. So I already had an idea, and of course we've been canoeing down the current. So
You're supposed to be working.
Yeah,
Oh, it's research.
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 That is research. Yeah. So, yeah.
And it is, as you mentioned when you first came on, it's a unique area. Here we are. We have actually two floating rivers with the Jacks Fork and Current. Obviously, Current on the upper end of Dent County, moving down, but then matching up with Jacks Fork. And as you get down, you see now Current River State Park and Echo Bluff State Park, and a lot more people wanting to get away from noise, wanting to get away from all that congestion, and just getting back maybe a little bit to nature, finding out what's out there. I mean, I think when COVID actually hit, a lot of people didn't want to be near anybody else. Found out how actually relaxing it is to actually be on your own out in nature, maybe just actually take a breath, get away from it for a minute or two. It really does help, and it kind of re-energizes you, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nature is a vital part to get outside, walk around. I go outside every morning at home, and we have great nature trails around Columbia. So every morning I'll go out and explore that area.
So how long did it take you to design this mural? There's a lot of intricate things to this mural.
What was the total? I think it was like 120, 150 hours or something like that. I think if I wrote the hours down, it was quite a bit of research and time put in, and then going back and doing some different additions and taking the horse out of the river, things like that.
Yeah.
But, so
Don't leave that horse in the river
don't
now.
put that horse in the river.
Yeah,
I
like
had
it.
it drinking out of the river, and that was a no-no. That was a no-no.
You can't do that anymore. 20 years ago, you've been fine. But,
Yeah.
So, what? Obviously, when I look at this mural, you see the floating, you see the river, you see the water, you see a little bit of a banjo player. I'm assuming that's Doug Dillard.
It is Doug Dillard.
Okay.
We have his permission to, or his
Well,
Estate's
it's estate's permission, or
permission,
Rodney's permission. You
right.
can use
Well,
that.
both. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you look at this and you see then, like on the other side of the building, I mean, this is going to be a full wrap of this building,
Yes,
correct?
it will be. Yeah.
You get a chance to see a story that tells a little bit about the history of Dane County. It's like a window to, as I mentioned, not only to the past, but a little bit to the future, because I really love the way the front has the flowers.
Right. Yeah.
You know, right over top of the entrance. And I thought, wow, that doesn't get your attention. What will? But, you know, you see the banjo, and then you see the water, and then you see the canoeists going uphill on the water. I always thought that was pretty good, too. I don't know where you got that idea. I said, gosh, we don't have any real falls here. But I'm curious, where did that idea come from?
Well, it's actually Benton, the way that he would construct his compositions. I mean, he opened the doorways for what you can do. So having a river that flows upward and goes down, and it's just compositional elements that are borrowed from artists like Thomas Hart Benton.
When I looked at this the first time and I didn't catch it, a lot of it, that I see everything as the rolling hills. Everything is hill, valley, hill, valley, which if you've been to Dane County, that's pretty much the way it is. And that's interesting that you put all that in there, because a lot of people probably wouldn't possibly think of that when they come to Dane County. Oh, you know, you think more rolling hills, you go to Branson, because you see them on the long trip down. You see up and down. You know, in Dane County, you drive it.
You do drive it. You're absolutely
You don't
right.
see it so
Yeah.
much, but you drive it. You
You
definitely
don't have
get
time to
out
look.
there. Yeah. You know, and if anybody's ever been out like Route KK and they can look down when they get down near Acres, you get way up on top of that peak, you can, especially in the winter, not so much in the summer, and you can see the current river below you, and it's virtually straight down. You know, so these are the neat things that I see you kind of depict a little bit, hint at them in this mural.
You have Mount Zion that is
Right.
at the very
Oh,
top
sure.
of that hill.
Right.
And, you know, so.
And then the river was such an important part when we were having the planning session, and and so people talked about the fish. So that was the underwater part. So
Right.
you see the paddle sticking through the water, and then we wanted to have bats and whippoorwills and things that are up above, and so that was another part, I think, why you kind of have the river up and down there too, so that we can see all those different elements. And there's something every time we look at it, there's
there
something
is.
new.
You know, and I looked at kind of the barrel making, you know, and I thought, well, that's very apropos. That's still going on very good. And they're still mining here, and a little bit of that is hinting there, and the fishermen in the water and stuff. There's just, you touch on virtually everything that makes this area special, but also the everyday stuff that people don't think about. Like I said, you got Stave Mill out here, and all of a sudden they come up with these beautiful barrels, and those whiskey barrels go all the way from here to France. You know, and it's amazing when you start to think about it, because we've had a lot of wood products that have gone out of here, Canoke and things of that nature, flooring all over the world, because the wood that the people want is exclusive to this area.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, you know. So when you were doing the idea, obviously when you put an idea together, I'm sure you had a few drafts and tweaked this a few times, right?
Oh, yeah, just a few times. In fact, I think we're still going through tweaks, in the process. So,
Yeah. Because you get an idea and say, well, this would really, and then as you continue the ideas, that actually might fit better over here, right?
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
Because and I love the front part. Like I said, I love the banjo putting on there, and of course, areas known for obviously the Darling family / the Dillards, and it's always a good part of our history to remember that. But it hasn't stopped. There's still a lot of people that play music here. Salem Area Community Betterment Association, Salem Arts Council has a jam session every fourth Saturday that they go to Salem Arts Center, and people sit around and just play music.
Well, that's part of why this is exciting too, is there's already the murals on the Art Center building and the Farmers Market mural. And then, so our Community Betterment Campus is doing all of those cool things. And so then we had this big building that really was, kind of boring looking, right? I mean, the beige before. And so having this mural ties in the art and, helps feature all those things that are important to us, and then really improves that campus area there with our farmers market shelter and all of that.
Has
So-
anybody with the Salem Arts Center helped out David in this, or made a few suggestions
Yeah,
since
Tana
he
and
got started?
Tana Kettner and some of the art students from the high school came to the planning meeting, and I think you're going to have some of them involved.
I hope to have some of them involved. We're going to start outlining. Right now, it looks like chaos. Right? It looks like
Organized chaos.
Oh, it is.
Shh. Organized chaos.
Organized chaos.
That's why all the letters and
Yes,
numbers
yeah,
are on there.
yeah.
Okay. It's your code.
It's the code that I
Come on,
find.
get creative here, man. I mean, you're
communicate with
creative as you
aliens,
are.
right? Yeah.
You bet.
But we'll be using that as our grid today, and so hopefully those lines will start showing up, and we could have people and students to come in and start blocking in stuff. We just ordered our color through, or our paints through
Robert Judson.
Robert Judson.
Robert's Judson.
Yep, yep. And
Is
so
this a
that'll be coming
special-
on Thursday?
Is this a special type of paint you need to put on this building?
Yeah, I'm getting the most expensive
Why not?
paint that you could get that dries like in a half an hour and is made to be put on this, and then afterwards we'll put on a graffiti coat, so if something does happen, and that actually helps with the elements, and
Sure.
it will help it last longer.
And that was going to be my next question, because we do get some pretty harsh sun here that right where that building is facing is dead west.
Oh, I
you
know,
know,
it
and it
is.
will take a brutal sun beating during the summer. No
Yeah,
doubt
we'll
about
have
that.
to paint that during special times during the day.
Yeah.
It's probably early morning, evening painting, so that the wall's not too hot to paint on.
Well, I got to tell you, Vivian, you being here and you getting all this experience, pretty soon she's going to be possibly stepping out on her own, doing a little bit of work like this. Or
I
are you
think
just going to
so.
stay within the family?
No, I'm hoping to do some of my own stuff
Okay.
as I grow as an artist. When attending the Kansas City Art Institute next year, I'm hoping to find other opportunities that are a little bit more outside of Columbia, and more things within Missouri. Maybe step out of a box a bit. But I do love working for my dad right now, and I do see myself still working with him in the future. But that probably won't be the only thing that I do. But
Is your vision different when you see something like this and say, I might have done this a little different or that a little different? Don't. It's not going to hurt his feelings.
Oh, no,
Because everybody's got a different opinion about something. But when you look at it overall and then you say, I see why you did it, and everything, you understand the concept. And, I think I'd have put this over here.
Yeah. My art style is very different from my dad's. My dad's art style, though, I've gotten to watch it grow as I've grown up. It's something that I've gotten to see develop through like different subjects with mythology and what else? I mean, it's grown. It's at nature right now, but he's done a lot of different things and covered a lot of different topics. And with that, his style always kind of barters and changes, and so it's been really interesting to watch that. So seeing him create this mural is just another one of those things where I get to watch my dad make something beautiful for people to love, and I think that's great. And so I wouldn't really change anything about it, but I do love what he did with it. Yeah.
So in the future, are you looking at doing murals or other type of art, or a little bit of everything?
So mainly I do illustration work, so
Okay.
so smaller scale stuff. But,
Just a little.
Yeah, just little doodles.
A little bit.
But yeah, I'd love to work on murals and bigger projects. But right now I love working on them with my dad and getting to learn from what he's doing and what materials he's using and techniques he's using. It's really interesting. And
One of the neat things that I loved about this mural is the amount of green, because we have a lot of trees, obviously, and also about the amount of water, and it's might be, and I guess I'd have to say that's the east wall, or the north wall, there's a lot of water in there. There's a lot of green in there, but it's so relaxing. It's just a couple guys fishing and taking it easy. But the water is not crystal clear blue. A lot of people sit there and they look through down in Montauk, for example. You go down there, you can see right through the water. You can see the fish.
Yeah.
So it's clear. but you know as well as I do, it's not clear. And I think you've captured that. And I looked at that and I said, how the heck did you get that kind of green glow to the water, because it's reflecting off the trees, and at the same time put the little bit of white of the moving river that obviously the current does, all mixed together. And I feel like you've captured the whole floating genre, starting at the headwaters of Montauk. Though I don't see the Seven Springs, but I do see a top up here.
Yeah, that's the what spring is that? That's the oh gosh.
Well, the one right there at Montauk, I think, right?
Yeah, the one with the old hospital.
That's Welch's.
Welsh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget all the stuff that's on there.
I say, yeah.
So
and
you've caused a ruckus a little bit.
yeah.
With
Have you guys been to Seven Springs down in Montauk? Up on top? Did you take them down there?
I think so. Yes.
If you look in the water on the side, you'll see the water shooting out. It bubbles as it comes out. And just you sit there and all of a sudden it go brrr, brrr, it just, you can just see the water coming out, and then you look here and then it's over there, then it's over here, then it's over here. How? You would think just all come up in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Nope. And
but we want to know a little bit more about what's happening right now, because you've caused
I'm
a stir.
getting there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. You're jumping the gun,
I'm jumping
Sarah.
the gun, but everybody wants to know.
Because they're here, they are now here, and you're actually getting started on the project.
Right.
Okay, how long do you think this project, guesstimation, obviously, because you're going to have to play around weather and different things, obviously.
Right, and I think that I've booked all of July and probably in the beginning of August, and we have window clings that we're doing too that are going to continue the mural. So that will probably be taking place in the middle of August. So I'm hoping to be done with everything by the middle of August. But of course, we've hopefully we have 4 days of rain coming. I don't want it personally because I want to work, but the soybeans need it. So
maybe rain overnight.
That would be nice. That's a great idea. Could we program that?
I don't know if we can, but it would be nice. Now, do you guys work at night with lights, or you pretty well shut off when
we pretty
daylight?
much shut off at sunset. I mean,
it's a long day
sunrise
anyway.
to sunset is about as long as we want to go. Yeah.
I get that. I get that. So as you get started, is there one side or area that you're going to get started on first, or is this?
Well, we've caused a bit of a ruckus. With the underplanning, which is it's called doodle gridding technique, and so it just have random letters and numbers on there, and we use that as a grid. And so we are going to start on the front today, but what we do is what I did was I took a picture of the building like it is now.
Sure,
looks like chaos. Right?
Yeah.
Controlled chaos.
It does.
And then I superimpose our painting on Photoshop onto that photograph, and then we can see, based on those underlying doodles, where that painting is on top. So we take just make it a little bit transparent so that we could see all the markings underneath the painting, and then we could go up and do all of our drawing from there. So use all of those doodle marks as references.
Yeah.
For the mural.
See, I figured there had to be a purpose.
Yeah,
there had to be some kind of purpose.
Yeah, there's some method there.
So when you did obviously, I don't know, did you guys do the primer, or did somebody else do that?
No, Chris and
Chris Roberts and his team.
Okay, all right. So the primer obviously is done. Obviously, make it a blank canvas for you, but did it fill the pores of the brick? Because we all know brick likes to suck in paint and water.
Yeah.
So as soon as you start going in there, you can think, oh man, this is great. And all of a sudden, it's gone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it does happen.
I think Chris did a really good job. I've been all around the building, and it's super soaked in, and it's a great blank slate to work from, and really thankful that he was able to get that done, and kind of he pushed aside some other projects to a little bit later to get it done for us, and I really appreciate it. Yeah.
So if you start on the front of the building, obviously by, let's just say, normal, typical July day in Salem, by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to probably be on the backside or on
Right,
the east, or
yeah.
on the north or south sides, right?
Right. Yeah, we'll move with the shadows.
Yeah.
Um,
And the direct sun.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we will be moving around it.
So people see you working on the front, and they come by at 12 o'clock or something, and they come by at 4. Well, they're done already. You're probably on the other side.
Yeah, I
of the
might be on
building.
the other side. Yeah, we've had some interesting experiences being here for the last 2 days, and what people think is graffiti going on the building.
Right. I did. I had an officer pull up next to me when I was on the left side of the building. My grandpa and my dad were on the right side, so I don't think he saw them. But it was just me spray painting the building by myself, just numbers and letters, just all this gibberish that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it doesn't make sense to him, but it
Well,
makes perfect
right, he
sense
just
to
doesn't
you.
Right.
understand.
But what did he say?
But, I mean, the aliens that we're talking to, I mean, hey, they see it. But he pulled up next to me, and he's in his car, and I turn around, and we'd had some people pull up, and
Sure.
what the heck's going on here? And the guy rolls down his window, and I look back, and I'm thinking, oh, it's just another person, and I'm like, that's a police officer, that's awesome. And then he rolls his window down, and he's like, hey, what you doing, kid? What's going on? And I'm like, hey, so, I know this looks bad, and he's like, it's not looking good for you. No. So what's going on? How old are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm 18, and I know in the back of his mind he's thinking, starting him off so
good.
young.
That's not good.
It's not looking like a good
Yeah,
future.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
You're
I
of age
promise.
to-
It's
You're not a minor anymore.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. I know. He's like,
Facing
you
a
might as well just
public
hop in
building.
the back of this cop car now.
We've
and
had
I-
a lot of outrage.
pretty bad.
And people are very upset that the building has been
massacred.
tagged, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah, well, and we should have thought about it, I guess, but I didn't know all the process. We've been in the newspaper talking about the mural. We've been at the business expo, but it's always hard to get everybody up to speed on what's happening. So yeah, when you take this big building and people saw it looked nice and was painted gray, and then all of a sudden it looks tagged. It is kind of
It's jarring.
It's jarring, I
Yeah.
guess. Yes.
Well, usually though, and I don't remember if anybody remembers back in school when you put a mural together. I remember, and I'm not an artist, guys. You don't want me touching your building at all. I can't draw a stick man, so we don't want to do that. But if you remember back, at least my art teacher did, we did things by code. So when I saw it going up, I thought, oh yeah, that's just their code. That's how they were going to do it, with angles possibly like here. This is where the angle wants to be for the water or whatever it is, and then the color is a code or a letter, and then you have the color in there, and then sometimes you have a color code like BWC would be black, white, and then possibly cyan, and then you'd have those that are mixed. So, I mean, we used to do that in our murals. That's a long time ago. But, we're talking 50 years ago. But that's what we did. On the paper, we actually put the codes so we knew where it was and where to stop.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So when I saw it and somebody asked me, I said, it's just code. And they're like, what? What's code?
Yeah,
I said,
well,
well, I don't know their code, but, I think it's just code because it's not random. It's not just a streak of something across. It's in its own way, shape, and form. I said, I can't see it. I said, I've seen the mural, but I can't see it. But I'm not doing it the way that you're doing it, David, or even when Vivian would do it somewhere down the road.
It's really
Good.
exciting to see.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's going
is.
to be really fun as it progresses. And so if people want to, it's been in the newspaper, so you can always look up the newspaper online to see the article about it and the designs. You can come in the building Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and we have a big mural, a big poster of the mural, so you can take a look at it and see it, and or just ask any of our volunteers questions, because we're all happy to help talk about the project.
So we're still looking, though, at funds to finish. How can people help donate as the project moves forward?
Yeah, we're so excited about the support we've had so far. Lots of donations from grants, and LED Foundation, the Ruth Arts Foundation out of Wisconsin has given us some funding. Dent County Industrial Industrial Development Authority, and then lots of local community businesses and individuals. And so if anyone's interested to contribute, donations are appreciated. And again, it's for the bigger project too. So we're moving forward with the mural. We're good there, and but we're still working on some of the other funds for the rest of the project. We can donate online at our website, salemcommunitybetterment.com/donate. You can always drop a check in the mail to P.O. Box 732, Salem, or you can stop by and contribute there. Like always, our exhibits are free, and that's really important. We want to make sure everyone can participate and come and see what we've got in there. But donations are appreciated throughout the year to help cover the operating costs and have all the cool exhibits, like the Smithsonian one that's coming up in March. And then, Trees and Trains, so don't forget about that coming in the winter.
We have one coming up right after this week, right?
Monday, yep. Monday starts the Dent County Business Celebration, so you can come see some of our current multi-generational businesses or, some of those historic ones that were longtime favorites in the community. That's open through the end of July, starting Monday. Then we'll have weaving and spinning. Susan Wilson is going to be doing all of her finger weaving and art there, so that'll be a cool exhibit in August. We'll have a mining and geology one in September and part of October, and then we kind of close it down for a little bit to get set up because Trees and Trains
Trees and Trains is a big deal.
A lot of work, but that's a favorite. So
right.
Lots coming up and lots happening. If you aren't able to make a monetary contribution but want to be part of it, we always welcome volunteers. All of our the whole community betterment projects, all of those are volunteer run. So it takes lots of volunteers. We have over 40 volunteers that help at ONCRC, contributing over 2,000 hours a year to help keep it staffed and do all the planning. And then all these exhibits take some time and effort and ideas and creative people. So we would love to have more people help us think through what we should exhibit in that big space over the next couple of years. So lots of ways to be involved.
Sarah, ONCRC is just a part of SACPA, and I think people may not even know what SACPA all does. And I mean, there's a lot of different things that you guys do with the Salem Arts Center, and you really got some really nice things going on there. But there are some other things that you've done, beautification and stuff like that nature. People really do need to understand what SACPA is doing in our community, because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I haven't heard anything about SACPA in a long time."
Yes.
You may not have heard it, but you probably have seen it or experienced it, haven't they?
Yeah, and so next year will be SACPA's 30th anniversary.
I've been here for all of them.
Yeah, it's a really long-standing, important organization, and it's taken lots of community people to make it happen. It is a nonprofit 501c3. Again, like donations and grants and all of that help make it happen. Lots of volunteer help. And so, Salem Community Betterment Association has the buildings down there where the Ozark Natural and Cultural Resource Center is, the Salem Creative Arts Center, and the Arts Council.
Farmers Market.
Farmers Market is a big one, and come out tomorrow and you can shop the market and see the work that's happening on the mural. Beautification, so all of the downtown planters and Craig Plaza, trees at the park, all of those things are done by volunteers with Community Betterment. Love Thy Neighbor, the summer housing renovation project. The Dent County Toy Drive is part of Community Betterment. And
Diane should be getting that
Christmas
really
in
kicking
July
off here
event.
soon.
Yep,
right.
it's coming pretty quickly, I think. So another great way to be involved. So
I think she waits till right after the 4th, and then she starts to kick it into high gear.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort and time and money to pull that off, but it's really important for the kids in our community. So SACPA Community Betterment Association is really, it's growing. And lots of things happening, lots of momentum. And again, we want people to be involved. It's about all of us pitching in to help make our community a great place, and lots of ways to be involved, no matter if it's art or farmers market, all those types of things. So if you reach out to any of us on the board, we're happy to get you involved.
Do you have a website that actually explains a lot of these things and at least has some pictures where people can see?
Yeah. So Brett Capps, our treasurer, made the website just this past year. It's wonderful, and we needed that. So salemcommunitybetterment.com, all spelled out. You can check out all the different projects and ways to sign up for classes, get involved, donate money, all of that. So we want you all to be part of it. It's exciting, and we're glad to be part of it. So.
Well, we are so glad that there was a time SACPA kind of fell down a little bit. A lot of the original members, obviously we all got old a little bit, had to find those replacements. It takes a while. Sometimes there's that transition, and I think SACPA has made that transition. It's getting stronger than ever, I believe. And also when you start to see things like this, and with the help of David and Vivian, obviously I'm going to give you a lot of credit because you're the future. Yeah. You're going to come in here and tweak this, as we need, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a family. It's going to be a family portrait. That's what it really is. And you're going to be the Dorian Gray of that to keep it going. Good. Keep it looking young.
I'm the age. She's staying young and beautiful. I'm the age.
Well, it happens. It just happens that way, David. I hate to tell you.
I know.
It's not going to get any better. But again, the creativity that was put into this, and I love your imagination, and all the different ideas that you put into this to bring not only forward what our area might be known for, but also some of the things that we may have forgotten that actually happened in our area. The river's always a good thing, but we don't see the miners too often. We don't get a chance to see the rocks being out there and stuff. All part of what Denton County is, and you did an outstanding job. Not being a local to remember this, but you absolutely did some research to find out a lot of different things about our county, and we really do appreciate that and the effort you put into this. And I just can't wait to see these white flowers in the front of this building. This is, there's not a lot of white on your mural at all.
Yeah,
and that was the only white I saw. Am I right?
Yeah,
is that
well,
the only one?
you're, yeah. I guess I didn't really think about it, but that's,
Well, I guess
right.
on the banjo front, but bright white. I mean, when you see it, it's just the only white, and everything else just has a little tinge of white or maybe off-white. Yeah. But it just strikes. It hits right in the middle of all that green and dark, and bang. Mm-hmm. And it's like a welcome to the ONCRC, and it really does look good. So,
well, thank you, Steve.
I really do appreciate that. So again, if anybody has any questions, is there a number to call SACPA, or are you guys just taking emails?
Better to email or stop by.
Okay.
That's the best way.
I know it's hard to get a hold. You got so many different arms.
Yeah, lots of people, lots of connections. So send it. There's a way that you can send a message on the website or shoot us an email. So lots of ways to connect.
Okay, so. Again, if you'd like to be a part of this, mail your donations to P.O. Box 732, Salem, or you can, if you see a board member, you're more than welcome to, talk with them about it, and they'll take your donations. Absolutely, I'm sure they will. And if you have any other questions about emailing about the ONCRC, you can just ONCRC at SalemCommunityBetterment.com. I highly recommend you go to SalemCommunityBetterment.com, the website, get a better feel for what it's all about, and really, I look forward to seeing the stages of this come to life, as you will. And I hope the people of Salem do as well. As they drive by, first off, don't stop in the middle of the road. Try and take a picture. You're more than welcome to pull off in a parking lot right there and take a picture, but please don't stop on 19 and try and get a picture or try and travel and say, look, I got it.
Yeah.
That's probably not a good idea. But if you can, do try and take a moving history of how they're providing this look at a mural history of Denton County. It really is kind of fun to see it come to life, and we're probably going to do some videoing of that ourselves, get up there and then put a time-lapse on it and watch how it all comes to life in a short period of time.
Now, people are just driving around with their mouth aghast.
Well, they're still trying to figure out the code.
Taking pictures from the parking lot across the street.
Oh, yeah.
Posting on Facebook. What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
Well, we know on we have a citywide yard sale, and citywide yard sales are notorious for people. They're looking for yard sales, right? They're not watching the road real close, and so that's why I say if they're looking over to the left. Well, you got a Casey's right there. You got the SACPA office right there. And if you're not looking hard enough, you might hit a curb or you might just hit something else.
So the best bet is to come tomorrow morning when the farmers market's here.
Absolutely.
You can park and shop and then check it out.
Get up close and take a look at all those numbers and letters.
Right.
Designs. Be good for you. Anyway, again, I want to thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the design. I know it had to take a lot of time to put all that together. It really did, and so
it's going to be worth it in the end.
I'm sure it will. The best to you, Vivian, in your future endeavors. I guess might be the best way, because it sounds like you're not going to be limiting yourself to one area. It looks kind of that just keeps spreading out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, you know, hey, you might get in the Art Institute. You find something that you just really want to put your claws into and go with it. That's great.
Absolutely.
But then again, you might get out there and say, you know what, I love doing this, but I want to try this. You know, at your age, we all know, hey, you got to, if you don't ever try it, you never know if you're going to like it.
Right.
Okay, so, and if you're that creative, if you're anything like I see here, wow. If you get that from your dad, you did a pretty good job.
Yeah, all my kids are a lot more talented than I am.
Well, that's pretty doggone talented
Yeah.
here, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But you're brought up in an art family. Obviously, you see things differently than most people would. I always kind of call them the accountant generation. You see things black and white. Artists don't see anything in black and white. You know, they see things in colors. They see things moving. They see things, they interpret it differently. And like I say, I didn't grow up in that kind of generation. Everything in my area was black and white. This is the way it is, you know. And so when you see a person like yourself, a young person like yourself, getting into it, that's fantastic, because anytime that you can talk with your dad or talk with your grandpa or anybody, you know, about art, I'm sure you're grasping new ideas all the time.
Yeah, always.
Well, the very best to you in
thank you
your
for having me.
future endeavors. And good luck. Hopefully the weather works well for you.
We'll just have it rain at night.
Rain at night,
Yeah.
cool northerly breezes every day.
All that. We gotta get that programmed.
Sarah, we got a lot to order.
We'll do our best. Yeah.
You know. But anyway, thank you guys for really coming down, putting this together.
Thanks for having us.
And again, if you have any questions, stop by the ONCRC. It is open while all this is going on, and you're more than welcome to stop on in. If you have any question there, your volunteers there can help you out. If you'd like to volunteer, talk to them there as well.
Yep. We'll be glad to visit with you. So
Very
thanks
good.
so much for having us.
And don't forget to go to their website, SalemAreaCommunityBetterment.com, right?
Right.
All right, very good. I've been there many times. It's a very informative site, and it looks good, so it's easy to navigate. That's also another nice thing about it. Sometimes you get to websites and they're not.
My dad's not here, and he's like my marketer.
Oh, my God.
So
He'd be
he
on you
would
about
he would
this.
be all over me for not saying my website is alleywayarts.com. You could Google me at David Spear. I'm on
Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram. It's
Spear painter.
Spear Painter on Instagram. Thank you for mentioning that, because my dad would be like, "You didn't do what?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alleyway
You
Arts.
can see all the
huh?
great work.
Alleyway
that
Arts.
he's-
I started in an alleyway studio that was in the alleyway in Columbia. So that was my first studio, and we were there for 13 years. And now I have a studio at home and moving around the state. So
It sounds like you're very active, and wherever you go, you've been here with Department of Conservation, obviously. You
Yeah.
don't stay home very often.
right, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, very good. Thank you again, David, for putting this together. Thanks, SACPA, for putting all this together, you know, and taking that building and turning it into a featured art place in the center of town, which is also, by the way, one of the highest points in town. If you did
okay.
not know that.
All right.
That is the highest, virtually almost the highest point in town.
Okay.
Next to the high school, that's it.
Yeah. So it'll be visible. We're,
Very
we're excited
visible.
to get people to come through and see it, and
Yeah.
stop at our community. So
So, and I'm not gonna put you under the bus, Sarah, but in the future, you know, obviously this when it all gets finished here in probably I'll say the fall season and stuff of that nature. This is going to be a big thing when people come to town. Is there a marketing plan SACPA has in place for this, and then the Smithsonian coming up next
Right.
year?
So yeah, we're working on that. So we're going to be working with the chamber on some of the ads that they do in rural Missouri and Missouri Life magazine, so that we can feature the mural as one of the new things to come and
Well,
see.
you
in
need
the
to get that
Smithsonian
article
exhibit.
written in rural Missouri, definitely.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, we're working on lining that stuff up. We'll come back here for sure.
Yeah. Sure.
But then, yeah, we're thinking about how we can help market it. Billboards maybe in the future. We want to make sure people know to come down here and see it. We've been talking with some of our, tourism commission and some of the different tourism businesses to think about how we can, make sure people know about it and come see it. So
Okay.
we're working on that. Honestly, if there's anybody,
I know this is infancy right now.
yeah, and we love people with marketing skills. So if anybody has that skill set and wants to help us make sure we do a really good job with this going forward this next year with all the cool things,
Very
we'd
good.
love that help.
Well, again, I know I'm keeping you from your job.
No,
so-
this is great. Yeah,
because it is dry right now, and you can get out there and actually paint. But David, thank you for coming in. Vivian, thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah, thanks you again, and we do appreciate it. And a little bit of part that we can do, whatever we can do. And you guys want to get halfway through, you want to come back down and give us an update? Be more than happy to have you come back in and kind of touch base with us and just say, hey, the graffiti's gone. Guys, thanks again for coming in. We really do appreciate you, and wish you the very best weather-wise to get this project completed the way that you want to get it completed and not have you guys melt. Oh, that'd be key. Guys, thanks again for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
KSMO Radio, our friends from SACMA, David, Vivian, and Sarah. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Have a great day. Civic Happenings next.
It's a place for do-it-yourselfers with everything for your car or truck.
Find these summer deals going on now, K&HL Supply. Get Parts City conventional